We need to hold America accountable. We are demanding that they tell the truth and teach the truth about Black history. All 401 years of it in this country, and the centuries before we were stolen and brought to this country. The enslavement of a people, the white supremacy and white supremacist violence, the systemic racism, all of it. Because in this time of racial reckoning, the one thing that should be obvious to everyone is that we are never going to heal as a nation until we tell the truth. Black lives will never matter as long as people truly believe that we have contributed nothing to this country over the past 401 years. Keeping people ignorant of all of our contributions and sacrifices to maintain the status quo is the point. That is what our Tell the Truth, Teach the Truth initiative is going to change. We started collecting the artifacts we collect so that we could own our own history. Because she who owns the artifacts gets to tell the stories about them. And we wanted to be able to tell Black stories about Black history from a Black perspective. It makes a huge difference. A perfect example of this is the 1619 Project. Our children deserve to learn the truth about who they can be by better understanding who they have been and where and from whom they have come from. And doing some research for a project to create educational games based on our collection, I was stunned to learn that the state of Black history education in this country hasn't changed much since I was in school. What I learned is that American history education, and more specifically, Black history education, is failing to meet the societal challenges of the moment. Incomplete state social studies standards and inaccurate history textbooks, along with culturally insensitive teaching methods, have allowed for generational perpetuation of misinformation and racist stereotypes about Black people. And this has fueled the ignorance, hatred, and racism our nation continues to struggle with today. This educational malpractice has done major disservice to all students and severe damage to Black students. I was also stunned to learn that only 13 states mandate that their public schools teach Black history. There are no national standards for teaching Black history, none. Black history education is limited to slavery and the civil rights movement and does not cover either of these topics accurately. Textbook content is inconsistent and inaccurate and being driven by political concerns of individual states. And the hard truth is, most teachers are white and they are not able to handle teaching the hard history of slavery, white supremacy, and systemic racism, as many of them learn the wrong things about Black history themselves. Now, couple that with what has been going on in this country for the past few months. Significant pushback against the 1619 Project, the Saving American History Act, a proposed law to cut funding from schools that teach the 1619 Project, an executive directive banning anti-bias training that relies on critical race theory and addresses white supremacy across government agencies, an executive order to establish the 1776 Commission to promote patriot education. What the hell is that? Support of racist Confederate monuments, denial of white supremacy, white supremacist violence, and systemic racism that is happening in real time, and very weak proposed legislation that just does not go far enough to fix this situation. So what are we going to do to change it? Well, we've started a petition campaign on change.org that demands the following from our federal government. National legislation mandating all pre-K through 12 schools in all 50 states teach year-round 21st century Black history curriculum. National Black history standards that cover all aspects of Black history, including the enslavement of Black people, white supremacy, and systemic racism. We demand that Black history experts write the national standards and create new curriculum and teaching materials, and that all school districts hire Black teachers, Black principals, and Black counselors, and that these initiatives be adequately funded with educational funding conditioned on participating. So if you agree that it's time to stop the erasing and whitewashing of Black history, please sign our petition and get everybody you know to sign it so that we can force our lawmakers to finally fix this situation. I learned a little bit about Black history in American history class in the 7th grade and learned everything else from my mom, who was a teacher. She participated in the March on Washington and was always teaching me about Black history and our family history. She sparked my interest in learning more on my own and is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So this is personal. I lost her earlier this year, and this is what I'm doing to help process that loss. She dedicated her life to the education and uplift of Black children, so I'm proud to be walking in her footsteps. Now, you can find out more information about Tell the Truth, Teach the Truth at museumofuncutfunk.com, and our petition is up at change.org at change.org/tell the truth, teach the truth.